Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Oh my god, this feels the weirdest thing because Caitlin is not here with me and she probably won't be for the whole video because this video is actually about myself and myself only. So a while back we did a video about our daughter sadly getting really unwell, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, please do check the video because I'm not going to go into it. But it did make me realise just how important it is to talk about medical issues because it is not spoken about enough, and the comments in that video honestly blew my mind. Not only did we help a lot of people, which is crazy, honestly, so proud of ourselves for filming that video because we have had the most amazing messages where people have demanded from their doctors to be seen and to get tests done, but also it is so common. So I'm going to talk about something that's been happening to me for so many different reasons. One, so maybe others won't feel alone. Two, to get some advice from you guys. And three, to just normalize these problems. So this is a little backstory. Last month I had my period, and since having Oakley, because I carried Oakley, my periods had really calmed down. I used to get really heavy periods, but it calmed down and it wasn't hurting as much as it used to. I used to literally be in bed, had the biggest cramps, couldn't move, and it was just horrific. So anyway, my periods used to last for 7 days. It now lasts for 4 days. So I had my 4-day period and that was it. A few days later, I had the weirdest thing happen to me, and I just want to say, with this thing that happened to me, I experienced no pain at all. Now, before I start, this is going to be a big trigger warning. I am going to mention blood. I'm going to mention talks of miscarriage. I'm going to mention all of that. So please, if that is a trigger to you, I completely understand. Please exit the video. So a few days later, I went to the toilet and I started bleeding again, which actually really confused me because I just finished my period. But to me, I just thought, oh, this must be another period, and I just didn't end properly on the other one. But what was weird was this blood was bright red, which my period blood is never bright red, it's always dark. And this was a completely different period to ever before. I had absolutely no pain whatsoever, like completely no pain. And I was filling up the pad within an hour, like completely covered the whole pad. And then that pad went through my knickers, went through my trousers. It was honestly just horrific. So this carried on for a few days and I just blew it off thinking it is an extremely heavy period. So after a day or two, I went to the toilet and I felt something really weird come out of me. I looked to see what it was and it was a blood clot, and I'm not being funny, I have had blood clots before. We all have when we go to the toilet and we have our periods, but this was a really big blood clot. This particular one looked like jelly. It was really weird. It covered a lot of the toilet seat and it looked like jelly, and I screamed for Caitlin. I was so confused, but at the same time, I was in absolutely no pain. So from this point, I was constantly bleeding these huge blood clots. I wasn't even having to sit on the toilet. I was literally sitting on a chair or standing up, and I was just passing huge blood clots, and also at the same time, bleeding very heavily. So I phoned 111, as you do. They said they'll phone back within 2 hours, which they did. They did ask how much blood was I passing, and I did say I was passing a lot with blood clots. Every hour the pad was filling up. They asked me if I was pregnant or I could be suffering from a miscarriage. I said no. They asked me if I was in any pain. I said no. And then they did say it can be completely normal for a woman to do this after their period, and if I had any concerns to phone back. So I just left it to the next day, and by this point I was just getting so fed up. Every piece of item I was wearing, trousers, jeans, I was full of blood. Literally passed through my knickers, loads of pads, my trousers. I just felt disgusting. So I went to the GP. Now I went to the GP because I needed a letter because I was going private. The reason why I went private is because of what happened with our daughter. I really have been struggling to trust the doctors because our doctors have let us down. So whilst I was at the GP service, I did speak to a nurse, and the nurse refused to see any pictures of the blood. I did say I did have pictures of the blood. Would you like to see it? She said, no, don't want to see it. But I did feel quite humiliated after that. And I did feel like crying because obviously it's a really touchy, sensitive subject. But she did give me the letter to go to the GP privately. So the private GP was actually on the same day, thankfully, that I went to the doctor's. And by this point, I was getting my children's nappies, putting it in my trousers, and still I was leaking. I was mortified. Like, there was no way I could stop this blood coming out of me, and I did not know what to do. I felt absolutely horrific, but I went with my nan to the GP, which was actually in the hospital, and the first thing she said to me was, are you pregnant? After seeing the pictures, you look like you're suffering from a miscarriage. And I said, absolutely not. She looked at me in the eye and said, this looks like a miscarriage. Are you sure there's no way you could be pregnant? No, cannot be pregnant. I'm with a girl. I said, are you sure? Absolutely sure I'm not pregnant. So she examined me, and she was honestly in disbelief. She even asked me, have I put anything dangerous up there, which I hadn't. And yeah, she just kept asking me loads of questions, and she could not understand why I was bleeding so heavily. So when she was checking my cervix, she did say it all looked really healthy. But at the same time she was checking my cervix, literally she had to put towels on the floor because so much blood was constantly coming out, and I just had a constant drip of blood. So I was saying to the doctor, I don't understand what's wrong. I'm not in pain, but I'm bleeding so heavily, and there is no way I can be having a miscarriage. Like, no way. I've not stuck anything sharp or dangerous up there. Literally nothing. So I said to the doctor, what could this be? She honestly said, Leah, I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. I've never seen something like this. And my first calls would say, take a pregnancy test. Like, I don't know what to say to you. You're going to need to have tests done. But also, you are bleeding an obscene amount, and we need to stop this blood immediately. So what she did, she gave me 2 tablets to stop the bleeding. And she said, if you do not stop the bleeding with these tablets, you need to go to A&E immediately. Luckily, the tablets did stop the bleeding, and I was booked in for a vaginal ultrasound a few days later. So when I had the ultrasound, she thinks she saw an endometrial polyp. She's not entirely sure. I do need to speak to the doctor still. The doctor has phoned since and has suggested I have a procedure to take it out just to check that it's all okay. They think this could be the cause of my heavy bleeding, but they're not sure yet. I'm gonna have to wait till after my procedure to update you guys on. The doctor did say that it was good I went when I did, because bleeding that much is so dangerous. I could have fainted. I'm probably very low in iron, which she will check when I next go in. I wanted to do this video because a lot of women suffer from these women problems in silence because they're ashamed, or it's just a taboo subject, and I have a platform. So by me talking about my experience, hopefully can make you guys open up to your friends and family about your experience, or your doctors, because these things need to be checked. I'm so pleased I went to the doctors. I'm so pleased I went privately. I know that I am so unbelievably lucky to be in the position where I can go privately. But I am pleased I sorted it out, because if I continued bleeding, who knows what would have happened, honestly, who knows? So yeah, that's what's happened to me over the last few weeks. To be honest, I do think I am low in iron because I have been exhausted, and I will keep you updated. But yeah, this is a different video to usual, but sometimes it's good to talk about serious things, and this is a serious thing, and it is a sensitive topic. But yeah, we'll see you guys in another video, but with Caitlin next time. I love you guys.